After you use both phones for a while and after like the dust is settled, there's a longer lasting evaluation of the phones you develop bit by bit the more you use them over time. And to me, it makes sense to look at all of the phone's capabilities when you're deciding to buy because you're gonna be paying for it, like literally. So you need to feel you're getting something worthwhile, but the way you feel about a phone after prolonged use isn't like derived from your preliminary logical evaluation of all the specs. It's really got to do with how you like the phone for the things you use it for, like how well it does those things. You're not gonna be walking around thinking, oh, I like this phone because it's got this amazing, really advanced feature that I never use. Of course not. You're gonna like it for the stuff you use that serves you well, that works well. Or you're gonna be bothered by the things that you are using that don't work the way they should. The iPhone has been feeling solid, refined, and not exciting, like all together at the same time. But realistically, asking for excitement at this stage in a product's life cycle would be pretty unfair, I'd say. I mean, there was excitement when the iPhone was announced in 2007, probably with the iPhone X's announcement when the iPhone Surface became mostly screen, but the iPhone's mature now, so we're past that. I really like the natural titanium look. I mean, the matte finish on the titanium frame makes it look very upscale and refined, and even though like when you look at it from the right angle you can see some fingerprints, the matte finish makes that harder to spot. Not that the whole fingerprints thing matters much anyway, it's just that you really notice it on the stainless steel frame of the iPhone 14 Pro, so this is like a refreshing change. So the iPhone's more appealing to the part of my brain that appreciates quality tech with beautiful artistic taste, while the Pixel appeals to the part of my brain that focuses on like versatility and the number of features that you have on the device. Regardless of which of those features I use or value, there's still an appeal to the number of features the Pixel offers. I've got to say, a lot of the things I like about the iPhone 15 Pro aren't specific to the 15 Pro, and that's very consistent and in line with the fact that iPhone has been a refined product for several years now. So a lot of what I like about the 15 Pro is what I like about the 14 Pro. I personally like the user interface on iPhone, on iOS. You know, whether it's the more nuanced shape of the app icons as opposed to just a circle on the Pixel, the nicer font on the iPhone compared to the Pixel, iOS's UI is just cleaner than Android's from an aesthetic standpoint. And for most things, I can't say that iPhone's UI is a functionally better UI than that on the Pixel. They're both good functionally, but iPhone's is just more appealing. And I would say that that's one of the reasons why many people find iPhone more appealing. The UI. Not everyone's tech savvy, but most people have smartphones, and most people can appreciate beauty when they see it. I like how biometrics are higher quality on iPhone. Face ID on the iPhone works in the dark, and Face Unlock on the Pixel does not work in the dark. And without going into the technical weeds for why that is, but the end result is, if you wake up in the middle of the night in a dark bedroom and fumble around to grab your phone because you want to check something on it, iPhone will unlock with Face ID without you having to get out of bed, while the Pixel won't. You're gonna need to unlock the Pixel with your fingerprint in the dark. Now, is that in itself the end of the world? No, but it's a slight edge for the iPhone. And the small good things about your experience with any device add up to something bigger, like a recommendation to a friend about what device to buy, or a decision to switch to a different device. When the small things add up, they do matter. Now, the Pixel still gives you two kinds of biometrics to unlock your phone, Face Unlock and Fingerprint, but neither of them are top of the line. The fingerprint scanner isn't very quick, and we've already covered Face Unlock, but still, as is typical with an Android device, you get more options than you do with iPhone. I love using FaceTime on iPhone. It's clean, works great, gives stellar quality calls, and you can use other video chatting apps on iPhone or the Pixel, and they'll both do the job. But FaceTime is just cleaner and more inviting and appealing than other video chat apps. I already spoke about the cameras on both phones in my previous long form video, but the bottom line, guys, remains iPhone for photos and video is better than the Pixel. On iPhone, the color on most photos and on videos is more true to life than the Pixel, and that's like a big part of photo quality. Now, there are things that are new about this iPhone that really don't matter to me at all. The action button and USB-C, I could have done without them, and I would have been just as impressed with the phone. Is USB-C better to have on the iPhone from a technical standpoint? Yes, definitely, hands down. Is it something that the majority of customers care about? Or is it something that'll make a notable difference to the way most customers use the iPhone 15 Pro? No. Like for the action button, I've personally dabbled in switching its function between different options for a bit. Using it to start a voice conversation with ChatGPT, that was super cool. But I switched it back to the function I value the most, which is to switch silent mode on or off. So yeah, other than the more straightforward actions you can set it to do, you can set it to activate shortcuts like that ChatGPT shortcut. Even set it to activate shortcuts that you create. So you can really double down on customizing the action button use, more than just using it to like open the camera app, for example, or toggle on or off silent mode. But it's just something that I have no desire for, and I have no realistic daily use for it either. And I'd say the same probably goes for most iPhone users. And this really brings us to a bigger picture point. Look, here's the thing. There are features that the masses of users love and use and have a strong emotional connection to. And Apple are geniuses at making products with lovable features. But those features have been around for a long time now on older iPhones. So my take is that as iPhone matured, it became harder and harder to stand on stage and sell people an iPhone that has a lot of the same features as before with a better chip inside. So there was a need for more advanced features that Apple can use to market the new iPhone, to use those features as selling points for the new iPhone, to encourage customers to justify to themselves or to want a new iPhone purchase, even when they don't necessarily need one. And that's the thing, most people buy iPhones because they love them. It's as simple as that, and that's very powerful. When I use the Pixel, I kind of have to wrestle with myself at times. My gut reaction is that I feel it's generally a bit of a downgrade from the iPhone, because of the points I've already mentioned. But every now and then, I'll remind myself that it does things that the iPhone just doesn't do, like the camera tricks, the editing tools, pausing apps, using the call screen feature to have Google Assistant answer calls from unknown numbers for you. So then I start thinking that the Pixel is a more interesting phone. Then I think, but most of these features, they really aren't things I benefit from or use most of the time, are they? And that's the thing about the Pixel. Like, if you list all of its features and just go off of that, you can say that it is the more interesting phone. But when you think of it, those features aren't features that most users would use frequently. Hence, in terms of practical day-to-day use, most of the features you're going to be normally using on your Pixel aren't that exciting. And other than that, I really want to address the elephant in the room here, which is the AI summarization tool for the transcripts of your voice recordings. Like, in my experience, it really wasn't that great. And there was like two things wrong with it. The first thing is that it made mistakes. It wasn't very accurate, meaning that at some points it would give the opposite meaning of what was in the voice recording transcript. The second thing is that it just wasn't very comprehensive. Like, it wouldn't include an important point in the summary generated. So like, I understand that there's a focus on AI for the Pixel, but it just didn't work properly when I tested it. If you want to buy it for its AI capabilities, based on my testing, I would not recommend that. So yeah, that's been my experience with both phones, and my opinion remains that the iPhone is the better phone. If you're gonna buy one of these two phones and you're not invested in like either ecosystems, I would recommend the iPhone. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.